Don't you do that, okay? And as far as the anti-dandruff shampoos, that's up to you, but be cautious, okay? I want you to be cautious of what you put on your scalp and on your hair, because again, no sense in trading one for the other. A dry scalp for dandruff or dandruff for dry scalp. Hey guys, welcome back. What's up, subbies? And I want to say what's up to all the newbies. That's anybody checking me out, maybe for the first time, maybe not. Maybe they came in, left, came on back. It don't even matter. I just need everybody to come on in. Hey, you, I need you to come on in, okay? Really quickly, we're going to go over something really quickly, something that has been, testing some of you as far as your regimen. So we're going to go over that, and that is a dry scalp conditions. What brings it on? What's going on? Let's go over it really quickly. We've all been there, okay, as far as a dry scalp, because your scalp is your skin, and just like your skin, it can get dry, okay? So with that being said, you know that when your skin on the rest of your body gets dry, some of the signs are, of course, it feels tight, when you move. It can feel really itchy. All the signs that you feel on the rest of your body, on your skin, or the skin on the rest of your body, well, the same can go for your scalp, okay? Because, of course, it's your skin. Now, dry scalp is often associated with dandruff, okay? We usually just connect the two. But did you know that dandruff is not necessarily indicative of a dry scalp? Bingo. Just another tip for the tip jar, okay? Just gonna drop that in there. There you go. So we're gonna go over that really quickly, okay? And dispel some of the misconceptions of dry scalp and dandruff, okay? So first with the dry scalp, again, you pretty much know the signs. As far as a dry scalp, just like with the rest of your skin, it can feel tight, it can feel itchy. When looking at it and touching it, it can look and feel parched and dry, okay, unmoisturized. After touching it or maybe even scratching it, you can see a gray or grayish white trail. That is a sure sign of dryness, okay? When you touch your skin or you scratch it and you see a gray or white trail left behind from where you touched it, okay? So that's definitely a sign of that. And it can look red, as a result of it being itchy and you scratching it, it can look red, okay? And sometimes a little inflamed. So those are some of the signs of a dry scalp. Now, some of the culprits for a dry scalp, okay? Some of the things that can bring on this dry environment on the top of your head, okay? It can be a change in weather. Usually it's associated with winter. Winter is a little drier anyway. With the cold weather comes drier air, which can definitely wreak havoc on your skin as well as your scalp, which again is your skin. Overwashing, okay, can cause a dry scalp. Of course, this makes sense, of course, because overwashing or washing too much or washing with the wrong shampoo can strip your natural oils, which is called sebum, the sebum from your scalp, thus making it a drier situation, as well as not using conditioner, okay? Now, I know all of us are using conditioner, right? We're shampooing and then using conditioner. So with that being said, anybody who skips it, you may notice a drier scalp because you didn't follow up with something moisturizing after shampooing. So that can cause it as well. And again, using the wrong products on your hair, that can zap the moisture from your scalp, as well as some of the solvents and some of the surfactants, okay, that's what cleans, that's the soapy agent that cleans your skin as well as your hair, okay? So those surfactants can be a little harsh, and that can bring about a dry scalp, as well as dye, okay, hair dye. I know we talked a little bit about hair dye in my previous video concerning grays, but some hair dyes can be harsh as well. And these things can bring about a condition called dermatitis. And dermatitis is basically when your scalp becomes a little red and itchy. It's an allergic reaction. That's basically what it is. It's the inflammation of the derma, or the skin, and in this case, your scalp. And it's an allergic reaction to one of the chemicals or some of the things in the products that we're using that's coming into contact with our scalp. So those are some of the things we want to look at or look into as far as what could be causing our dry scalp. Now, conversely, with dandruff, it's a little different. It's like the opposite side of the same coin. Now, while dry scalp may present a fine white flaky powder, okay, on your scalp, with dandruff, the flakes are usually bigger, okay? You have bigger flakes, and they're usually like an off white, maybe a little yellowish. So while dry scalp is a finer powder, dandruff, it's a little bigger. It's a little more prominent as far as the flakes, okay? A little more substantive. And this can be brought on by too much oil on your scalp. So remember, dry scalp is the lack of moisture. So not enough moisture on your scalp, or whatever was there has been zapped. And dandruff usually presents itself after too much moisture in your scalp, more specifically oil. Yes, dandruff is an overabundance of dead skin cells, okay, that have collected and have finally sloughed off, okay? So dandruff can be a result of some of the hair products that you use that may be too heavy, okay? Because you know that your scalp naturally produces sebum, which is the oil, brought out through your pores on your scalp. So dandruff can be brought on by things like heavy hair products that we may use on our scalp or hair. It can also be a result of naturally found fungus, naturally found on a lot of people's scalps with no problem, and it is called
Malassezia.
This can cause dandruff, as well as hot weather. So remember, with the dry scalp, we were talking about cold weather, opposite side of the coin. With dandruff, it can be hot, humid weather. And again, we're talking about conditions that bring about more oil on the scalp, okay, which therefore can trigger the extra dead cells being produced and then later on being discharged from our scalps. So these are some of the culprits for dandruff, in addition to not washing enough, okay? So again, dry scalp, washing too much; dandruff, not washing enough. So on your wash days, okay, have you ever noticed that when you first wash your hair, you got a nice little wash or whatever, and you may comb your hair and you see light little white powder-like flakes on your shoulder? But later on in the week, or when you go to wash again, maybe a week or so later, you notice that you have bigger flakes, okay? Maybe a yellowish, whitish flake. Well, that may be why. Because again, when you first wash your hair, it may not be dandruff that you see. It's probably a result of the dry scalp, as opposed to later on when your hair is a little more oiled up, if you will. You see heavier flakes of more substantial robustness, if you will. Have you ever noticed that after maybe greasing your scalp or using a heavy moisturizer, maybe throughout the week, again, using heavier products and pomades, that you still notice dandruff? You're thinking that you're combating dandruff by using it, but you're actually activating it, okay? You're thinking that, okay, well, I'm going to use some pomades on my scalp, I'm going to oil my scalp, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Well, you may be mitigating the dryness to your scalp, but you may actually be activating the dandruff on your scalp. Again, because of the overabundance of oil on your scalp. So that natural sebum plus whatever extra you're putting on there, that could be causing that. That could be triggering the dandruff. Okay, Dolce, we've heard all that. What can we do? Okay, what can we do to address the dry scalp and or the dandruff? Well, I'm about to tell you. I know that a lot of people like to use anti-dandruff shampoos, okay? So they use like stuff like Head and Shoulders and things that have been around for a long time. And I know that they work on a lot of people, but what I will say is that some of them can cause a drier scalp, than before you use it. So some of those that may contain salicylic acid, they can cause your scalp to be drier. So you want to be careful with that, okay? If you notice any dryness after using an anti-dandruff shampoo, you want to follow up with something either more moisturizing or maybe find something else to combat the dandruff, because there's no sense in trading one for the other. So you may be getting rid of the flakiness of the dandruff, but now you got a dry scalp. I would find something that can do both. Another caveat, those that have, I believe it's coal tar in them, okay? Some of these things can change your hair color. Some of the ingredients in these anti-dandruff shampoos can cause your hair color to change. Whether you're naturally blonde or whether you are gray, okay, it can change the tint or change the hue of your hair color. And even if you're dyed, okay? So if you have dye, hair dye. So you want to be careful with that, okay? So that's another thing to look out for. Well, for me, what I've used, I remember I reached for the regular, Head and Shoulders. What is it, Head and Shoulders? I think it was Head and Shoulders. And for me, that was very drying. This was years ago, and I'm thinking, ooh, flakes, dandruff, let's go. Anti-dandruff shampoo. For me, that didn't really work, okay? Because I ended up with a really dry scalp and therefore really dry hair. So I didn't like that combination. I did not like the way that my hair felt like straw. And even after using a conditioner afterwards, now granted, I wasn't using a leave-in at that point. This is way before my hair journey when I was just trying to, just do my thing. I wasn't even on a hair journey at that point. I was just simply taking care of my hair or thinking that I was doing the best in taking care of my hair. So with that being said, I didn't like the way that left my hair, okay? I didn't like the way the anti-dandruff shampoo left my hair. And funny enough, even before then, I went to a hairdresser. Okay, I went to a hairdresser. I went to her because my mom used to use her. Okay, I was young. I was still in high school at that point, but I wanted my hair done. I think it was for the prom. So anyway, long story short, she noticed the dandruff on my scalp, and what she did was, hold on, brace yourself. What she did was she put rubbing alcohol on my hair. Okay, I don't think y'all heard me. She put rubbing. Now, when I think back on it, and I've thought of this before, and I thought, wow, was this because she had a falling out with my mother? Or did she really think this was going to help my scalp? Of course, we all know that rubbing alcohol is very drying, okay, to your skin. So why in the world would you put it on someone's scalp, let alone their hair? But that's what she did, okay? Now I'm already in the chair, and I'm not saying anything because I'm thinking she's the expert, she's the professional. I'm just a kid at this point. I'm in high school just trying to get my zhuzh for the prom. Anyway, she pours this rubbing alcohol all over my scalp. I can feel it burning, okay? And she proceeds to do whatever else and wash and whatever, and finishes my hair. Now, my hair did not fall out or break or whatever, but I only brought that up to say that didn't make any sense, okay? That made zero sense whatsoever. So you do not want to use any types of alcohols on your scalp, okay? Don't put no alcohols as far as drying alcohols, okay? There's different type of alcohols, and we can get into that later. But we're talking about what happened to me, okay? This was a little salon story, okay? So it was a quickie, but I just brought that up to say that don't be putting no rubbing alcohol. Don't put it on cotton ball. Don't put it on a Q-tip and rub it down your scalp thinking that you're getting rid of flakes and this and that. You are going to agitate your scalp and you are going to dry it out. So you may not see the flakes from the dandruff, but again, you may get dry scalp, and it's not good for your scalp, period. It's not good for your hair, period. Okay, it's going to zap it of its moisture. So again, me thinking back, I was just really, even when I got out the chair as a kid, I was questioning what she was doing, but I felt intimidated as a kid that I shouldn't say anything, you know, because she's the expert. So who am I to tell her? But I knew deep down inside, I said, I'm not coming back to this lady, okay? And I didn't. That was the last time that I saw her. So anyway, moving forward, I don't do that, and I wouldn't go anybody who would do that. Don't you do that, okay? And as far as the anti-dandruff shampoos, that's up to you, but be cautious, okay? I want you to be cautious of what you put on your scalp and on your hair, because again, no sense in trading one for the other. A dry scalp for dandruff or dandruff for dry scalp. Why not just mitigate both, okay? So with that being said, what I ended up using, this is years later, okay? I know I'm all over the timeline. So that's when I was a kid. And then when I got older, I tried the anti-dandruff shampoo. Didn't like it, dried out my scalp, made my hair feel like straw. Then years after the fact, when I really got onto my hair journey and I was trying to get the right products, I was introduced to different things and different companies and different brands. I liked Aveda. I liked Aveda Scalp Remedy. Okay, now at that point, it was in a bottle and it had a dropper, like just like medicine. You would take the dropper out of the bottle, put little drops on, and massage it into your scalp. And honey, let me tell you, for me, it worked, okay? So it relieved my dry scalp from all the abuse of using harsh shampoos, and I did not see any dandruff. I'm telling you, I did not see any dandruff when I used it. I did not. So this, for me, was very effective at that point. And then as I grew in my hair journey and bought more high value products, okay, more high value hair products, it has really benefited my scalp, okay, to the point where I don't really see all that, okay. Now, yeah, I may get a dry scalp right after I shampoo and wash, just the initial combing. I may see a little bit of powder here and there, okay, which I'm not really worried about because I wrap my hair and I know the sebum is working, I know everything is balanced and so forth and so on. But I really don't see a significant dry scalp where there's itching and a problem and this and that. No, I do not. As far as the dandruff, again, that has been mitigated. That has been brought down to its lowest denominator, okay? And I really don't have an issue with dandruff. I really don't. These products that I'm using right now, they have been substantially beneficial both to my hair and to my scalp. So that dry scalp and dandruff are no longer really a problem. They really are not. And so I want to impart that to you guys as well, that I really believe that with the right products, with the right ingredients, okay, and I always say you're worth it. If it takes an extra dollar or two, you're worth the extra dollar or two. But you may want to invest in some really good, sound products that are really going to nourish your hair and therefore nourish your scalp, okay? You really want good products that are really going to impart moisture without killing it with a whole bunch of oils and shellacking it with a whole bunch of nonsense, and therefore activating some of the conditions on our scalp. So I wanted to impart that to you guys because I really do believe that a lot of these things, the cure or the remedy, is in the products, is in the quality of the products. Because sometimes, you know, the cheaper products, a lot of times, they use cheaper ingredients that can cause an allergic reaction, okay? And therefore present itself as either or both, okay? So that's why I said with better quality, okay, ingredients in your hair care products, you know, and that's across the board. Better quality usually translates to a better result. It really does, okay? So I wanted to go over this really quickly. And again, we can get into this a little deeper, you know, with the actual shampoo products and this and that. And if you want a whole breakdown, just let me know down below. You know, I have no problem with that. But I wanted to share that with you guys as far as the difference between dry scalp and dandruff, how one necessarily does not equate to the other, okay? It's two sides of the same coin, okay, as far as a scalp condition. One is too little moisture, okay, that can be brought on by a list of things. And the other one can be brought on by too much going on. It's just too much going on top of your head, okay? So that's why sometimes you see people with oily hair and they still have dandruff, you know, if they haven't washed their hair. Sometimes you can really see it, you know, but their hair looks oily and you're like, well, how does that work? Well, that's why, okay, that's why. Either they're not washing their hair enough and they let it get dirty, and therefore the skin cells have accumulated on their scalp and are now raising up and taking flight. Or it's a thing of they've used too much, something too heavy on their scalp, and it's accumulated and therefore caused this reaction, okay? But either or, as long as it's not anything, a medical condition, because there are medical conditions such as psoriasis that can be serious, okay? And you know that the difference, because it can be all over your body, including your scalp, okay? So something like that you may need medication for, as well as eczema. You know, the eczema can be brought on by stress, and that can cause flakiness on your skin as well as your scalp. So anything that seems really serious, where there's any inflammation and a constant redness, you may want to go to a dermatologist just to be sure, okay? Just to be sure. But for the regular old dry scalp and dandruff that you may see, that can definitely be addressed, okay, through the right products, either adding or subtracting the right products to get the best result, okay? So that wasn't too bad, right? We were in and out, okay? I want to thank you so much for dialing in and showing up. I really do appreciate it. I really do. I do. And yeah, we'll be back talking about some more stuff. We got more stuff on the list. You know, I always say that because it's always true. We got a list going on. We checking it. You already know the spiel. And you know what? We're working it down, okay? So we're getting through it, and we got more stuff to get to, okay? So I'd love to see you back. So you gotta come back for that. So you already know. It's going to be the same Dolce dial. It's going to be the same Dolce channel. So you come on back.